So in this video we're going to go through requirement and placement templates. Templates from a requirement and placement perspective are there as an option if you wish to pre-populate the fields and ultimately the rates of a requirement when you're creating requirements, and also when you're creating a placement as well, or creating an offer, more to the point. So it's basically the ability to be able to pre-populate fields during the creation of a requirement or the creation of an offer that will then become a placement. This is enabled through your user group permissions. So within the admin area under user group permissions, you have the option under the admin group of requirement and placement templates, and this will grant the ability to create and edit placement templates on requirement templates, and ultimately this option is available on the templates row available here, and that gives you a view of all of the requirement and placement templates available against the system. But in terms of putting this in place, how would you do that? That will be done from a requirement record if we're looking to create a requirement template. First and foremost, you would need to create the requirements as ultimately you would like it to be templated. So you would obviously enter in your requirement information in terms of obviously the contact company, the associated address, the job title, any benefits associated in relation to the requirement, and obviously the rates that are associated with the requirement as well, the agreed rates that you have in relation to the requirement. Then from the View More menu, what you'll see is this option of Create Templates, and if you press that, what you'll see is that we've got the template details form of a requirement template, and ultimately this allows you to effectively have these fields pre-populated against the template, but most importantly is ultimately the rates. So the rates associated with the template are obviously then stored. You can also set an expiry date against the template. So if it's a case that this is only valid, or these are rates that are only valid for a certain period of time, then obviously you can enter that expiry date there. And obviously the description of the template will be the job title, but that doesn't have to be the case. It could be that you want to name it something else. So if we select save there, that saves the template, and then in theory, let's say that a couple of weeks have passed, and this client has got back in touch with you and said they want to, or they have another position ultimately of the same kind as the one that you filled for them previously, with the same rates. Then what you're able to do is ultimately look up your contact, and ultimately the templates are stored against the company, not the contact record, but you start by looking up a contact, and then you'll see this templates option that's been introduced on the requirement, the create requirement form. Hit templates there, and then you'll be able to see, in this case we just created a template for Java developer, so we can select that, press OK, and that applies the template to the requirement. If we then save that requirement, what we'll see is that obviously we've got a requirement now in place, and ultimately the rates are pre-filled as per that template, and obviously from there you're then in a position to progress with arranging shortlisting, longlisting candidates for the position, and obviously making the placement. So that's the requirement template. What I'll now go through is the placement template. So moving on to the placement template, ultimately this follows the same format as the requirement template in terms of its creation. You have to be within a placement. That placement needs to be pre-filled as you would require it to be, and then ultimately from the View More menu, again you have the Create Template option. When you hit Create Template, that draws the template form with the details of the placement being copied into the fields that obviously you can then template, and that obviously includes pulling through rates and pulling through PO numbers, and allowing you to add default rates and default PO numbers that are going to be associated with this template. I've already set one up against that placement, so if I just move on to now actually making the placement, so if I move to the candidates tab of this requirement, we go to offer, and then ultimately as part of the offer form, what there has now been is this templates option introduced, and on selecting on templates, we can select that Java developer placement template that's been created. I hit OK there, and that's now applied in the background the associated template rules against the template, including the rates and the PO. If I put a start date in here, a day per week, and then if I just hit save there, that will create our offer, create our calendar and task. I won't worry about sending an email, but if I move now into the offer record, what you'll see is that the detail in relation to the placement have been recorded over. The rates have been copied in relation to the template. Back office wise, that's been pre-populated on the basis of the template, and ultimately the admin associated with filling in the offer record to make sure that it's pre-populated as needed has been dealt with by calling that template, allowing us to just move to accepting offer, and that obviously takes us then through into an unauthorized placement. If I go to the company record, just to address where templates are viewed from within the company. Again, this is on the basis of that user group permission and allowing you to have rights to view these templates. But off the View More menu, you've now got the option of Requirement and Placement Templates. And if you select that, it will take you to a list of your templates. You've obviously got the template scope of a requirement or a placement template. So if we click on that one, it gives us the requirement template. If we click on our placement template, it obviously gives us our placement details there, and obviously all of that was pulled through into our associated template, including associated placement, including rates, and also the associated PO number as well that was against that template. So that's from the company record. And obviously when you're viewing it from the company record, you're seeing the templates filtered by that company, but within the admin area, there's also the requirement and placement template area as well, and that takes you into a similar style table, except it's not been filtered by that specific company. I've only got those two templates against this company on here, but it will list all templates associated with all companies on the system that have got requirement and placement templates in place. So that covers the requirement and placement template functionality in Colleague 7.